Don't wanna paper over the cracks. I'm quite prepared to let you all fall apart. I'm quite happy to stand I'm trapped in a place where everything's wrong. I realise that the world like this, so where do I belong? Well, I find myself something worthless to do, so I can ignore the pointlessness too. But I can't be bothered to look back. Don't wanna pay for over the cracks. I'm quite prepared to let you all fall apart. I'm quite happy to stand back. If you're looking for a way out, you won't find one sure. I'll leave you so whenever I'm going. It's alone.
Yeah, All Fool's Day. I'm really proud of the way that came out on the record because it's just so uncompromisingly kind of weird.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think we always wanted, and we never really when we did the album later, we maybe didn't get enough of a chance. But I was always very taken by the idea that what you put on the record should be deliberately very different from what you do live, and that going into the studio was a chance to do all sorts of things that you couldn't do live, and which obviously is what the Beatles did. It was what if you compare the live The Edge of Hate album with the studio version, and the Sex Gang Children as well, who we were both quite into. I mean, I'm not sure that they necessarily did it very well, but they certainly tried to do something different. And so it was an opportunity, particularly as we were in a proper studio, to do something completely different. But All Fool's Day, I think, was one of our first ever songs, and we'd never really had a guitar part for it or drums. It was only ever bass and vocals.
Well, because there was only two of us. I suppose. And you used to sing it, didn't you?
There was a time when
you'd sing it and I'd play bass.
Yeah, no, that's right. And it was. I think the idea was that we could do it and then run into the reason why. And I remember we used Cy's. Cy Barry, our guitarist, we used his mum's photo album to get that little plinkety plonk music box effect
thing,
as part of.
Is that what it was? A photo album?
Yeah. And it was just an opportunity. I think there's a bit of piano in there, a lot of guitar feedback, cymbals, wash. I mean, it was just, this was what I remember. What I wanted to do about being in a band was to spend months in the studio recording really complicated. That was one of the things that I was much more into that than playing gigs, actually. If when I sort of thought I want to be in a band, what I really wanted to do was to spend 6 months recording a fantastic album. I'd read about Brian Wilson and his 128 track whatever, and the Beatles spending all this time on Sgt. Pepper, and I thought that sounds great. I'd love to do that. And this was our little bit of spending 2 hours indulging ourselves for a change.
It was actually they got a piano tuner in. Do you remember?
To the studio.
Yeah.
Because on the reason,
That's why, because I mean, it's,
but on the reason why I play the piano and echo the guitar part. So presumably they had to get the piano in tune with the guitar. Although maybe they just did it to be technical. That sounds like the sort of thing they'd have done.
There was some really old guy. He was just sat there tuning the piano. And we were in the other room just getting wasted and sitting in a weird juxtaposition.
Yeah, spending Walter Haight's money on having the piano. But I remember writing the song on April the 1st, 1982, I think, and my best friend Si Ledbetter, who we were really, really close friends, and he was away on holiday, and I was really bored and miserable. I must have been 17, I think, and I was lying on the bed in my parents' house, and I noticed a crack in the ceiling, and it sort of, the whole lyric just sort of formed itself from thinking about this crack in the ceiling as an emotional metaphor, if you like.
I really like that line. I'm quite prepared to watch it all fall apart. I think that's magnificent. I used to enjoy singing that.
Yeah, well, cheers. Yeah. It's not a bad lyric. I mean, 17. I think I did all right there. And it was just like that. Unlike Journey's End, that was one where it was an exact sort of photograph of what I was feeling at that particular moment, bored and lonely and miserable, really. And that crack is still in the ceiling. My dad's house.
Maybe you should go and have another look.
He's quite prepared to let it all fall apart.
Fair play. Yeah, it was one of our very early songs, that, wasn't it? From when it was just us two, before we actually got back together. Yeah. Good song.
Actually, just talking about early songs as well, which I meant to say when we were talking about True Courage, is I remember in the early days of Flowers and Dustbin doing a version of True Courage where we're on the guitar and bass, and it being really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we never played it live. We just worked it out once and played it in the bedroom, and it had a sort of slightly. I remember it reminding me of the Clash, and there was a certain sort of reggae-ish, but faster rhythm to it.
We did a lot of experimenting in those early days, didn't we? I remember.
We experimented.
Seasons in the Sun was a cover, didn't they?
Yeah, I've heard that, and that experiment failed, I think it's fair to say.
But
we did it.
I'm quite pleased with the sort of the ideas, and perhaps not the execution of them.
I'd
still love to do a cover of Nature Boy, for instance.
We must have spent months and months just playing around in each other's bedrooms with. Well, that sounds wrong to me. And the thing was that, although we could barely play anything or sing, and there was a great freedom to it because we would try anything. So I remember we then progressed to having, we had.
Pause.
Yeah, so I was just saying that once we moved into practicing in the studio, we experimented with having drummers who couldn't play the drums but were in the band because they were the right people and stuff like that.
Yes, yeah.
And I suppose a lot of that stuff was, you wouldn't want to listen to it. But that was one of the great things about the fact that you could just go on the dole and live on the dole and not have to go out to work, and you just have the freedom to